Good evening and welcome to a car park. Where else would you find me? Just been to see Alien Romulus. I don't even know which number Alien film this is at this point because there's a lot of them. I'm gonna start by saying I'm not a big Alien franchise fan, apologist, whatever you want to call it. Like, I love the original because it's outstanding. Ridley Scott, thriller, space, creepy, tense, brilliant. I love Aliens, James Cameron, big, noisy, action, also still in space. After that, you lose me. Have I seen the third one? Probably. There's a fourth one. Yes, because I remember the box set being the Alien quadrilogy and people losing their minds over that not actually being a word. I mean, it's definitely a word now. And then I've definitely seen the first Aliens versus Predator, but I remember it being terrible. Oh, and then I've definitely seen Prometheus, but I don't think I've seen whatever came after that. No, it escapes me, so I definitely didn't see it. So that's where we're at. I love films, I watch a lot of films, but some stuff just passes me by. What was it even called? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here we are, right? This is Alien Romulus. This is set in between Alien and Aliens. That's where we are chronologically. So the events of Alien have happened. Jess Buster, Mel the Android, Sigourney Weaver badass, blah blah blah. But before, what are all the stuff that happens in Aliens? Newt, mostly. Get the hell away from her, you bitch. All that happens in the second one. So we're in between. Interquel, I think, is the word that was made up to describe what this is. So we've got an entirely new cast of what look like baby actors to me because they were all born in the late 90s. The main character is a young woman called Rain. She is played by Kaylee Spaney. I have previously seen Kaylee Spaney in Priscilla. She played Priscilla Presley. And when I reviewed Priscilla, I could not remember her surname, so I can at least set the record straight now. The woman is called Kaylee Spaney. She's very good. She's a tiny little person, but did good action heroine stuff here. Who else is in it? Other people I don't really know. Like I say, some younger actors. There's a few British guys knocking about. But basically, Rain is trying to get out of, or trying to sort of work off a work debt so she can go somewhere else. If I'm supposed to know the ins and outs of this, I don't. Excuse me, I need to clear my throat. Now, normally when I yawn during a review, I do this and call it a face hugger, even when I'm not reviewing an Alien film. Okay, apparently you're just going to have to put up with a croak. No, it's gone, we're grand. Okay. So she's trying to finish up a work contract. She goes to the office. She's worked enough hours, but they won't release her. And it's just her. She hasn't got parents anymore. It's just her and her brother. Her brother is played by British actor David Johnson. And he is a synthetic android sidekick. Sort of. I mean, he's not a sidekick. It's not a Disney film. But she refers to him as her brother. Somebody, like, our dad obviously found this synthetic abandoned and sort of repaired it, so his job is just to look after Rain and make sure she's okay. He's really sweet, is the synthetic. It's almost like the way that the character is created, it's like he's oh, this bloody frog in my throat. It's I mean, I could just start recording again, but I'm 4 minutes in now, so I refuse to. It's almost like he's an adult with learning difficulties. But he's very sweet and quite childlike and very loyal to her. So when a friend approaches her about this wacky idea to steal some cryopods from this craft that they've seen sort of drifting. They've done some sort of scan, they found this craft drifting, and they're like, oh, there's an abandoned craft up there, we're going to go and steal the cryopods, and then we're going to sleep all the way to this other system which is supposed to be lovely, because where they are is pretty rubbish. And initially she doesn't want to do it, but they need Andy, her android brother, synthetic brother, because he's made by the same company who made the ships. He's going to be able to like have clearance to get about the ship. So she agrees. They go up there. Guess what? Xenomorphs. All hell breaks loose. And that's about as much as you need to know, really. I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I did quite enjoy it. It's a horror film. It's definitely a horror film. The original Alien, I would say, is a horror film, like Ridley Scott's one. And then James Cameron's Aliens is an action film with horror elements. This is definitely more back on the side of horror. It's quite tense and creepy, and there's some really quite nasty deaths, some body horror, just some really quite gnarly shit goes down. So it doesn't shy away from that. It's only a 15 certificate. The original 2 films were 18 certificates, but it was a different time. I thought this was actually pushing it a little bit for a 15. When I can compare it to something like that I saw recently, Trap, which was also a 15, which I felt was quite toothless and held back in its gore and its violence. This was the opposite and went as far as it could possibly go and keep a 15 certificate. So it's got some quite gnarly bits in it. So yeah, it's a horror film with action set pieces. I liked the look of it. I thought the way they did the creatures was great. From what I understand, the director, Fede Alvarez, he wanted to do as much of it like for reals rather than relying entirely on CG. There is some CG towards the end that was extremely ropey and pulled me out of the film a bit, which is quite annoying. But other than that, like, it felt quite real and gritty and dirty, and the things that I liked about the original 2 films. I think my beef with it, because I do have some beef, is that I didn't get to know anything about the characters, so I didn't really care when they started getting picked off, because it's that sort of film. You start with a bunch of characters, you're pretty sure not all of them are going to make it to the end, and I didn't know enough about them and how they related to each other to actually give a monkeys when they started dying horribly. So that is a bit of a niggle. But then on the flip side, would I have sat through, getting to know you sequences and like exposition at the beginning to sort of bed in with the characters before the action started, or would I have got bored? I don't really know. I think it looks good apart from the CG at the end. I think Kaylee Spaney was a really good, believable action heroine for a tiny little person. I thought the rest of the cast were good. There's a nice throwback to the original film, which I won't spoil because I don't do spoilers. But I don't know, like it feels like money for old rope, sort of like we've been here before. It's not hugely different to a lot of what we've seen before, and I'm just not entirely sure what the point of it is. But I was entertained, I suppose, and I did want at least a few of them to get out alive, so maybe it was okay. It's not terrible, it's not amazing. The original 2 are still the absolute best in the canon by a country mile, but yeah, just remind me never to go to space. That's it. Katie out.